webinar, How to Convert Holiday Shoppers to Loyal Customers. As we move into fall, marketers are preparing for the holiday shopping season when they will spend their biggest budgets to attract and engage new shoppers. The average e-commerce store spends 80% of their marketing budget on customer acquisition. However, 27% of first-time buyers only use the business once. Today, I'll be moderating this session and will discuss with Neela Ahmed how to convert your fragile first-time buyers to loyal customers. But before we get started, I'm going to cover a few housekeeping items. If you're tweeting with us, tweet using the handle @Cybba Inc. and the hashtag holiday shopping. Also, we will make sure to make time for questions at the end of the webinar, so please submit your questions in the GoToWebinar chat panel that should be available on your screen now. And last but not least, we're recording this webinar and we'll make it available for you for later playback and sharing. So let's get started and meet our main speaker for today, Neela Ahmed, who is the Managing Director of Cybba Canada and has close to 10 years of retail e-commerce experience. For our agenda today, we will discuss the e-commerce holiday landscape, the digital customer lifecycle, 5 types of online shopping, the engagement journey, and engagement strategies for converting your holiday shoppers. Now let's toss it back over to Neela to learn more about how to convert these holiday shoppers.
Hi everyone, and thanks again for joining. The holiday season is one of the busiest and most lucrative times of the year for retailers. During the holiday season in 2017, online shoppers spent a whopping $108.2 billion to celebrate the festivities. The year-on-year increase in spend was 14.7% according to Adobe Analytics. Interestingly enough, Adobe also found that areas with the fastest growing populations of young people and high levels of international migration were also associated with more e-commerce sales growth. So what does that mean at a more granular level for retailers? Well, it simply means that different demographics shop in different ways. I'm sure you all know that, and it will come as no surprise to you when I show you the spend differences between them. Deloitte put together this wonderful little holiday survey for the retail market last year and found a few interesting things. The average consumer is expected to spend an average of $1,226 during the holiday shopping season. That nearly doubles to an average of $2,226 among households earning $100,000 or more. Online spending edged out in-store by capturing 51% of holiday spend. The key variables that swayed the consumer wallet to shop more online were the variety of available delivery options, ease of search for an item, availability of hard-to-find or unique products, a variety of available products and services, and lastly, high quality and trusted products. Coming back to another Adobe finding that I thought would be pertinent to this slide is mobile. Mobile was a big driver on Black Friday and Cyber Monday last year, driving a $7 billion spend on tablets and smartphones between the 2 shopping holidays, increasing 28% year over year. This brings us quite swiftly into looking at what does the online consumer journey actually look like. I'm sure we're all familiar with this diagram, and if you're not, then please get acquainted. Allow me to introduce the typical life cycle for a customer. On the left is the traditional customer life cycle, and on the right is the digital customer life cycle. It includes multi-touch points, multi-device, and social influence before the commitment of a sale. When did it all get so complicated? Nevertheless, if this is where Gen X, Y, and Z is leading us, then are you doing everything you can to adapt and evolve to their shopping behaviors and needs? As you can see, driving new acquisition is no longer a straightforward, simple feat. Things to consider are, do you have a strong lead generation campaign? Are your campaigns performing well? Do you have a robust social strategy? Are you active and engaged as a brand on all relevant social platforms? And are you segmenting and communicating? Whilst we have an understanding of how users may shop on their journey, the most important thing is to identify who they are so we can engage appropriately. So who are they? There are 5 typical online shopping personas. They make decisions in different ways, and their reasonings also vary. Let's take you through all 5, because the best way to communicate with your consumers is to identify who they are and understand what they need before we engage and communicate. First up is the impulse buyer. This shopper is a tad trigger happy when it comes to browsing sales, especially when they see one item left in stock. It's the sense of urgency that drives the purchase. So regardless of whether it's a need or a want, this person can justify it. The second is the price-sensitive shopper. These deal hunters are strategic, patient, and a little bit adventurous. They know that everything will eventually go on sale, and they're willing to wait, even if it means possibly losing out. Price-sensitive customers are looking for a good price, but not necessarily the lowest. Value for money is the key here. The best product hunter is up next. These shoppers enjoy the reassurance that they have found the best product by extensive research before purchase. They'll compare specs, comb through feature lists, as well as look for expert opinions, comparison guides and reviews from experts and customers. That plays a big role in this considered purchase process. The experienced shopper is our penultimate profile. These savvy shoppers adopted online shopping years ago and know all the trade secrets. They know which sites that have the best shipping rates, the best customer service, the best deals, and the best returns policy. In fact, most of their shopping is done online. Experience, along with all of the factors above, becomes more instrumental in this user's journey. And finally, we come to our final profile, the emotional shopper. We all know the phrase retail therapy. An emotional shopper is someone who splurges to fill a need. They buy because they're upset, stressed out, or just plain bored. The instant gratification of purchasing a product is justification enough. Now, new shoppers are fragile, especially ones that shop in the holidays. If they're unhappy with your product, the shipping times, or if they just weren't happy with the purchase process or post-sale experience, then they just don't come back to shop again. New customers are also under no obligation to revisit your site, even if they had a great experience. Remember, only 27% of first-time buyers place a second order. So we have to focus on how we can engage with these fragile customers. This is what most marketers will view as essential touch points to engage with a user, from acquiring a customer to retaining them as a loyal user. However, we have evolved as an industry and as marketers. So we no longer see this journey as linear. This now represents the online engagement landscape. Repeat shoppers are extremely precious. And whilst the holiday season drives a vast number of new shoppers, we must look at how we can convert first-time buyers to repeat customers. Don't forget, according to Harvard Business Review, it costs 5 times more to obtain a new customer than to keep an existing one. So there's no excuse of why we shouldn't be doing our best to engage. Let's go through some of the do's and don'ts and talk about how we can optimize engagement strategies for personalization of discounting, emails, on-site engagement tools, loyalty programs, and social, as all of these are essential to ensuring retention. Salesforce Commerce Cloud reported a 28% average discount rate over the 2017 holiday season during Cyber Week. This period also accounted for 33% of the entire holiday season's revenue. Discounts for the holiday season are a good tool for driving new shoppers, but aren't necessarily the best for retaining them long term. Remember the 5 shopping profiles that we went over earlier? Not all users are necessarily attracted to discounts. Other incentives may be just as impactful and relevant. Incentivizing first-time shoppers to redeem the discount only on their second order is a method used to increase their spend and return. By doing so, this is also creating a sense of urgency with the caveat of a certain time restraint. Or ensure that your discount strategy is entwined with your loyalty scheme to make that user feel valued. The ultimate goal is to convert first-time buyers to repeat customers. The rule of thumb is, if you can get a customer to come back and make a second and third purchase, they have a 54% chance of making another with you. Don't forget that during the holiday season, first-time customers spend only 17% more per transaction, whereas a repeat customer spends 25% more. Emails are a big focus in the engagement strategy. Make sure they're mobile ready and responsive designs. As according to Movable Ink, 76% of Black Friday emails and 63% of Cyber Monday emails were opened on a mobile device. I'm sure everyone has a trigger email strategy for post-sale first-time buyers. That first email you send them is probably the most important one, so make it a good one. The second most common reason customers unsubscribe from an email list is that the content they received is not relevant to them. The first being that they receive too many emails. So to keep new users engaged and from unsubscribing, ensure the content that you're sending them is relevant. Emails with a personalized subject line are 26% more likely to be opened. Brands using emojis in their subject lines have even seen a 45% increase in their unique open rates. One of the best ways to get customers to make a repeat order is to send an email based on their previous viewing history or items that align with their last order. You'll see Amazon do a great job of this exact strategy, albeit a tad overzealous at times, well, for my liking anyway. Remember, half of shoppers were done shopping by December 3rd, according to Salesforce data. So being prepared for the season and having a strategy is crucial, especially when a third of all revenue from the holiday shopping in 2017 came from spending in Cyber Week. A study by Shopify discovered online retailers lose nearly 70% of sales through shopping cart abandonment. Not all customers who add something to their cart genuinely plan on making a purchase. Using a shopping cart like a wish list or to check shipping costs is something that is all too familiar for most online retailers' abandonment journeys. But customers are on the fence, and some of them just need a little helping hand to pull the trigger. Providing on-site engagement tools that offer more than just a one-click solution have a great impact on providing a positive consumer experience. These tools should be an extension of the customer service you provide across the brand. Personalized recommended products based on user behavior, bookmarking products for easy return to previously viewed pages. These are essential components to an on-site tool to work fluidly with the brand and user experience. We found that including an on-site engagement tool can have an incremental impact of 10% on your website. A quick example of the impact Adidas Group have experienced from using on-site tools allowed them to engage users throughout the funnel, personalize their campaigns to the user, segmenting audiences and using criteria filtering, all whilst embedding a very specific promo incentivized strategy to the campaigns. They saw an increase of retention for both new and existing customers. Customer loyalty from holiday shoppers are all about how you communicate and engage with the user, not just in the moment, but also post-sale year-round. Some of the most common schemes include rewarding them with personalized discounts or special offers, interacting with them through their preferred communication channel, get their feedback to see if they were satisfied with their experience and service, year-round relevant communication. 73% of consumers typically shop with retailers who have reached out to them throughout the year. Only 27% said they would shop with new retailers during key periods, like holidays, back to school, and so on. Reward schemes are also key. According to the nationwide study by City Retail Service, 50% of shoppers stated that they would use rewards to buy more gifts than they would have otherwise. Customer loyalty is all about personalized communication with your customer. Have you segmented your ECRM to ensure that you're sending the right messages to the right user? Birthday emails and incentives, anniversary of sign-up promos, relevant upsells or cross-sells to previously purchased items. Social media has such a powerful impact on consumer shopping online. We only need to look at this cover of Forbes to display the impact of having a social presence. She built a $900 million empire with just social media and branding. According to PwC, holiday shoppers are more likely to make a purchase if a product is promoted by a social media influencer, especially if the influencer taps into their core values, rather than an activity that's seen as sponsored by a brand. They summarize that the holiday shoppers use social networks for purchase inspiration. If that's the case, are you inspiring your holiday shoppers? And are you ensuring that the first-time holiday shoppers not only stay, but also become brand ambassadors for you on social networks? We're now at a time where social influence and referrals heavily impact business online. There are several platforms you can use to segment and personalize your engagement with first-time holiday shoppers. For example, Facebook and Google both let you upload customer emails to their ad platform, so you can be very personalized and targeted with your approach. These dynamic ads show your customers the products that they've previously viewed or may have an interest in. It's easy to set up, and you can upload each segment and choose the type of products you would like showcased. Facebook studies have shown that dynamic product ads, like the ones I've described, increased conversion rates by 3 times and reduced cost per conversion by 65% in comparison to normal ads. If you do have a social strategy in place, how are you drawing the holiday shoppers to engage? One way is by utilizing on-site tools on the confirmation of sale page to encourage existing users to share their purchase with friends and family. We delivered an 18% engagement rate on this type of solution. Ensure you are keeping your holiday shoppers engaged post-sale to make your brand memorable. So here are my 5 key takeaway points for this webinar. First, identify your online shopper. Who are they? How do they shop? How should you communicate with them? Second, personalize email communication. Make it relevant. Recommended products based on previous views, buys. Third, personalize on-site engagement. Identify your shopper in the funnel. Address the different stages accordingly. Each is valuable to your brand. Give them the full in-store experience online. Fourth, segment your customer database for loyalty. ECRM segmentation all the way. Give your customers recognition, birthdays, anniversaries, relevant contact based on their spending. And lastly, relevant and personalized social media campaigns. Having a strategy is half the journey. Is it working? Are your shoppers inspired? Are they your brand ambassadors? One size does not fit all. Personalization is key. 81% of consumers claim that a negative experience of personalization impacts their perception of the brand. Thank you for joining me and listening. I do hope you found this useful.
So we do have some time for a few questions here. The first question that I saw come in is for Neela, and it is, what is the impact of consumers who go back and forth between brick and mortar and online shopping to build customer loyalty?
Great question. Showrooming, as we all know, is something that began kind of cropping up in the more frequent years, about 5 years ago. And if you're unfamiliar with the term showrooming, it's essentially the practice of shoppers who visit stores, brick and mortar stores, to examine the product before buying it online. Shoppers, prefer to physically see and touch a product, especially when it's a considered purchase. So I think the market has changed to be less about the competition between the two and more so on focusing on drawing the dotted line to ensure true omnichannel or multi-channel activity. Referring to holiday shoppers specifically, the trends usually involve quicker purchase decision making due to sale urgencies, and what may secure converting the customer to returning again may be things like returns or exchange policies and visibility of ease and find with those as well. And that's just because typical showroom behavior is not always possible with limited stock and sales.
Great, thanks, Neela. Another question that we have here is, of the tools mentioned, which ones can be implemented quickly for Q4? Which would you start with? How effective are they? And you mentioned on-site engagement, post-sale engagement, and paid social ads, etc.
I think we all understand the time constraints of the holidays and especially integration requests with setting up any technology. Some of the tools that I highlighted in this webinar, however, are turnkey solutions. So all you need is access to your tag manager, like Google Tag Manager, and you can be set up in 5 steps. These type of campaigns can be up and running as quick as within a week, and that's for on-site tools or even email campaigns. We've seen incremental impacts of 10% to the bottom line. So you can definitely have something in time to get up and running in place for your Q4 rush.
Great. We have time for one more question here. I have some additional media budget for Q4. How can I use it to build a customer base from holiday shoppers who will be engaged into the new year?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think something that happens all too many times, where you have some remaining budget and just don't know where to spend it. I would definitely look at some paid social campaigns in that case, just because we've glazed over some of those highlights and the positive impact that they can have just earlier in this webinar. And we certainly look at more intricate strategies like using customer reviews and photos in the actual social ads to build trust with the user, or using site reviews to target new shoppers and product reviews to retarget shoppers. We've run similar campaigns like this in the past where we've achieved 4-to-1 return on ad spend and a 4.9% click-through rate. So that's 3 times higher than the average. So you can definitely make the most of what budget you have remaining, if any, for Q4 if it's not already tied up.
Great, thanks, Neela. So that's all the time we have for today. I would just like to let you know that our next upcoming webinar, How to Get the Most Out of Your Holiday Media Budget, will be hosted on October 3rd at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. I would like to thank again Neela for taking the time to talk with us today, and of course I would also like to thank our audience again for joining us. You can continue the conversation with us on Twitter or email us at marketing@cybba.com to get more information or to see a live demo of our solutions. Stay tuned for the next upcoming webinar. Thank you.